So does that justify everything that you do?
Excuse me, let me tell you something. What do you think they were doing it for? Because they were trying to save us from poverty? No, they did it because they needed us. It's honor and family and loyalty. And some of us wanted a piece of the action. Now, we weren't educated like the Americans, but we had the balls to take what we wanted.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another live edition of On The Go right here on Driving to the Top Productions, and I'm your host, yes, Big Austin. I'm bringing the sauce tonight. What is up, everybody? Whoo, I got a show for y'all. I'm in such a great mood on this hump day. It's December 10th, 2025. DJ, hit that.
Wait a minute, get it how you live it. 10 toes in when we standing on business. I'm a big stepper, underground methods. Top-notch hoes get the most, not the little.
When you hear that, that means we got a good show tonight. Oh, I'm ready. Before I get to that, y'all know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on X at BigHouse337. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. This show On The Go you can find on X and Instagram at OnTheGo_TXLA. Driving to the Top Productions, you know where to find those guys. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatnot. This show, of course, is presented by Poggers, the official vitamin supplement of On The Go, and Rogue Energy, the official gaming drink of On The Go. Go or download the app on any mobile device or go to poggers.shop. I sit you there. There's that promo code right there, OTG, to get 10% off of your order. And man, whoo, NOLA stand up, Louisiana stand up, H-Town stand up. Y'all all made me proud this week. 99% of y'all made me happy. And we're going to kick it off in the 504 tonight. Let's go. Let's take it to New Orleans. Let's go. 504, baby. We're going to start it off in New Orleans, but let's start off with probably the best team in New Orleans right now. Tulane, stand up. Green Wave, stand up. Because you guys have just won the American Athletic Conference Championship. Y'all beat North Texas 34-21, and then on top of that, you guys are in the college football playoffs, only becoming the second team in the state alongside LSU in 2019. So, hail to the yes. Everybody else, get back. Get back. Get back. The wave is rolling, baby. They beat North Texas 34-21. Close game. Started off as a blowout, then it was close towards the end. The Green Wave now going to the playoffs as conference champions with an overall record of 11-2. 7-1 total in the American Athletic Conference. Remember, they went 4 years in a row, but they've won 2 out of 4. This is their second one. They won it back in 2022, and then they just won it the other night. 344 total yards, 145 passing, 199 total rushing. Jake Retzloff, 13 for 22, 145 passing yards, 15. He also had 15 carries for 49 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. But Jamari McClure led in rushing in that game. 22 carries for 121 yards and a touchdown. Garrett Mama Hat. Did I say it right? Mama Hat?
If one of y'all says some silly-ass name, this whole class is going to feel my wrath.
Anyhow, Garrett, 3 catches for 39 yards. He led in receiving. Zy Carl Lewis Jr. had 2 catches for 30 yards. And then that defense, 65 total tackles, 39 solo, 7 tackles for a loss. 3 interceptions, and 5 sacks. At me. Five sacks, 2 from Santana Hopper, 1 from Sam Howard, 1 from Harvey Dyson, and 1 from Woe Westmoreland. Defense was on fire, so congrats to Tulane. They're moving on to the college football playoffs. We know their fate. They got to go back to the Grove and play Ole Miss, where the last time they went up there, they gave Tulane their first loss of the season. I think it was, I'm actually going to pull it back up. They lost 45-10 the last time they went to Ole Miss. But, man, I'm going to explain more of this when we get to the college football playoff talk. But I just wanted to recap that game for Tulane and tell you, even though that rivalry with LSU's been dead since 2009, I couldn't be more proud of this team of putting Louisiana back on the map when LSU can't. You guys are kicking ass and shining. You even got a former national champion LSU head coach and Ed Ogeron supporting y'all as well. If he can support, then I can support too. And I feel bad, but it ain't my fault. I used to have a Tulane shirt, but I outgrew it. I highly need another one. I know a place down about less than an hour away I can get one till I get my vehicle fixed. I will be heading out there. I guarantee you for next week's stream, I'll be streaming on December 17th. I'm going to have a Tulane shirt on when we predict the playoffs next week and some other bowl games you're going to have the following week. So Tulane getting ready for the playoffs. Hope everyone gets healthy, safe. Get ready to try and shock the system and shock the college football world when you guys take on Ole Miss next week. Now let's talk about another New Orleans team I've been proud of. The New Orleans Saints. Ball, you shocked me Sunday. You got the win over your division rival and not just the number one team in the division, one of the top contender teams in the NFC, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Y'all split with Tampa Bay this season. Y'all went to Raymond James. Y'all got the win, 24-20, a much-needed win, even though our season's over with at the end of the month. But we're trying to finish strong, and now you improved to 3-10 of the season. Let's talk some numbers in this game. Much better numbers, to be honest with you. 260 total yards, 121 passing, 139 rushing. Finally, we got them rushing yard numbers up, all because of our QB. First off, ladies and gentlemen, we found the guy we've been looking for quite a while. It took a little while to get him to boost up and gain that confidence, but Tyler Shuck is him. He's that QB1 we've been missing after Drew Brees announced his retirement because Andy Dalton couldn't cut it. Derek Carr couldn't cut it. Spencer Rattler couldn't cut it. Tyler Shuck just did. That's our guy. 13 for 20, 144 passing. He did throw an interception. But let's talk about, he didn't lead in rushing, but that's good enough for me. 7 carries for 55 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Woo! They shocked me, folks. 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 at the beginning of the game and 1 towards the end. Oh, Shuck, yum, yum, eat 'em up.
Yum, yum, eat 'em up. Yum, yum, eat 'em up.
We found him, guys. I couldn't be more happy. But Devin Neal led in rushing. He had 19 carries for 70 yards and a rushing touchdown. Devon Vale led in receiving. He had 3 catches for 40 yards. Juwan Johnson had 4 catches for 38 yards, and Chris Olave had 3 catches for 30 yards. 67 total tackles for the defense, 45 solo, 3 tackles for a loss. Sadly, no sacks. But 1 pick courtesy of Alontae Taylor. And they got 2 more home games left, 4 games left of the season, but 2 more home games coming up, back-to-back home games to wrap up in the Dome. They get ready for another date with the Carolina Panthers, who earlier in the season, they beat them in Charlotte 17-7. This will be the 63rd total meeting, and they're going back in the Dome. Yeah, they've won 4 of the last 5. The last time they played them in the Dome, they did beat them. I think they could do it again. If I can give you a score prediction, for this. Let's say 20-7 Saints beat the Panthers. Because, yeah, Carolina had some shocking wins earlier this season. Like, not long ago, they beat the Rams, who might be one of the maybe the best team in the NFC. But maybe that was just pure luck. Carolina has won some, and they've lost some. But I want to pull back, like, what they've done in, like, at least the last 6 games. Let's say after the last time they played us. So that was on November 9th was when they met. After that matchup, they beat the Falcons 30-27 in overtime. They fell to the 49ers 20-9. And then they beat the Rams 31-28. So they've only played 3 games after they last played us. Obviously, they must have had a bye week in between that. Yeah, they did. They're actually coming off a bye week to get ready to play us for the second meeting. So, yeah, they've only played 3 games, and they've won 2 out of 3 after that last time they played us. So, 1, 2 out of 3. Beat the Falcons, beat the Rams, but lost to the 49ers. So, NFC opponent after NFC after NFC. Shit, I mean, since the Buffalo Bills, they've played like 5. Now this will be their 6th consecutive. Actually, they're going to close out the rest of the season with NFC opponents. After they play us again, they play Tampa Bay, then the Seahawks, and then they play Tampa Bay again. So, I mean, Buffalo was their last AFC opponent, and that was back on October 26th. They have played NFC teams the rest of the season. But you heard it here, folks. 20-7. We're going to get it done. But before I get to some Pelicans talk, well, actually, I'm going to get that out of the way because I don't have much to say. We'll go ahead and close the NOLA talk with Take Flight. And, yeah, the Pelicans are still in that losing column. Yeah, one of their last games, they actually almost got a victory. I don't think I've updated this team lately. I thought I did. So since last show, which was back on the 3rd, they've actually played 3 games, but I've updated only 2. So the Pelicans now sit at 3-22 of the season. After last episode, they played the Timberwolves back on December 4th, where they fell 125-116. I'm only going to give a couple numbers in this game. Trey Murphy led in points. He had 21 points. He went 7 for 17 in field goals, 7 for 8 in free throw shooting. He also led in rebounds. He had 7 rebounds, plus he had 8 assists. He led in everything in this game. Shadiq Bey had 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. Jeremiah Fears had 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 turnovers. And then on Saturday, December the 6th, they went to Barclay and fall to the Brooklyn Nets 119-101, where Trey Murphy led again in points, 23 points, 10 for 17 in field goals, and 1 for 2 in free throw shooting. Derek Queen led in rebounds with 9, plus he had 6 points. And Jose Alvarado led in assists with 6, plus 4 turnovers, and he had 9 points in that game. But this past Monday, they did play a game. I did watch some of it. They could have won this game, but they fell to the San Antonio Spurs, 135-132. So now, like I said, it puts them at 3-22. Derek Queen in this game led in points with 33. He went 11 for 15 in field goals and 11 for 13 in free throw shooting. He also led in rebounds with 10 and in assists with 10 assists and 4 turnovers. So Derek Queen led in everything in this game. So let's see some big numbers here. Trey Murphy had 32 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Herb Jones had 17 points. Shadiq Bey had 17 points. They also both had 6 rebounds. Jose Alvarado had 10 points in this game, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. And I guess is Zion hurt again? I think he played in the Timberwolves game, or if he didn't, but he hadn't even played in the Nets game, and he sure didn't play in this one. Are we going back to the basics of Zion getting hurt, being out majority of the games again? I don't know, to be honest with you, but I can tell you what's next for the New Orleans Pelicans till next stream. Tomorrow night, they're back at Smoothie King Center, taking on a 9-15 Trailblazer team, who I believe they can win if they can get their head out of their ass. Sunday, they go to Chicago to play the Bulls on the 14th. So they only got 2 games till next stream. Shouldn't be too bad. I hope I can try and check 1 or 2 of them games out. See about that. But, man, they need to get something done. Meanwhile, before I get to the 225 talk in Baton Rouge, let's go ahead. I want to give a shout-out to every college team around the boot before we get to any other parts of the area codes I cover. Because next time I talk about these football teams, it's going to be when their bowl games happen. So outside of the areas I cover, Louisiana Tech also punched the ticket to a bowl game. Matter of fact, every team I'm covering that's bowl eligible, plus Louisiana Tech, don't have far to go. Louisiana Tech got to go about an hour and a half, 2 hours west on I-20 to Shreveport in the Independence Bowl. They're going to play Coastal Carolina. The Raging Cajuns are going bowling as well. They're going to play Delaware. For a minute, I thought it was goddamn Michigan, but I forgot. Michigan and Delaware literally have the exact same helmet, except Michigan got that dark midnight navy blue, while Delaware got like a medium color navy blue, like, or a little lightish blue. Not light blue, but like not even a sapphire blue. Like, do you know how many shades of blue they got? Like, you'd have to Google Delaware's blue. It ain't like Michigan blue, I can tell you that, even though their helmets look very similar. But Raging Cajuns, Delaware in the 68 Ventures Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. So what? Mobile's about, what, 3, 4, no, not even 3 hours from Lafayette. Probably like 4 hours. You want to make the trip to Mobile. Actually, it's next week. But I'm also, I already mentioned Tulane. They're in the playoffs. They're going back to Oxford to play Ole Miss. How far is Oxford from New Orleans? About 5 hours, 6 hours, something like that. It's somewhere in that scenario. Maybe less, because I know it took me about 7 hours to get to Oxford from over here. But this is where I blow the whistle, folks.
Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle.
And I'm blowing the whistle here because I had a feeling this was coming eventually, sooner than later. I'm going to get this in 2027, and sadly, I'm going to have to get it December 27th. 2 teams I'm covering on this show are going head-to-head in a bowl game, and man, I hate that. LSU and Houston are going to go head-to-head in the Kinder's Texas Bowl in Houston at NRG Stadium. That sucks for me because, I rep both teams. I love both teams, but I already made a decision. It's the simplest decision ever. I've said my entire life, LSU always comes first in this house. So that means I'm going to have to pick against Houston, especially when we get to that. Because I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets.
I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets.
Especially when they're like, what you going to do, Hoss? You going to rep the purple and gold, or you going to wear the red and white? Are you repping saying go Tigers, or are you saying go Cougs? Are you calling Baton Rouge, or are you on red alert? It's always LSU. You know how they say it's faith, family, and whatever you love, God always comes first, then the family? When it comes to football, LSU always comes first. Then whoever else. I want to throw second with the college teams I follow and my 2 NFL teams. But no matter what, when it's football, LSU's always first. Now that I got that out of the way, speaking of LSU, let's take it to the 225. Y'all ready to go to Tigerland? Talk some LSU basketball? Let's go. Now that we in the 225, after doing my little LSU rant, let's go ahead and do a little edition of the PMAX show. Since last stream, we've only had 3 LSU basketball games to cover. 2 of those were Kim Mulkey's Tigers. And by the way, I didn't even put this as a topic, but I'm going to eventually do it somehow. We were just coming off the cusp of the SEC ACC Challenge. And let me just say, I don't care what sport it is. The SEC is always going to dominate, especially if it's football and baseball. Hell, we're making a scene in basketball. And let me just say, both teams did their job in the SEC ACC challenge. We'll start with Kim Mulkey's Tigers first. They played Duke in that challenge, and they got the win, 93-77. I did update the record. And then after that, they played New Orleans, beat them 126-62. So now that puts Kim Mulkey's Tigers number 10-0, perfect 10-0, and they still the number 5 team in the country. And that win over Duke, I know Flaugier Johnson led in points. She had 18 points. She went 7 for 11 in field goals, 3 for 4 in free throw shooting, and 5 rebounds. She also led in rebounds. Michaela Williams led assists with 7. Plus, she had 14 points. Amaya Joyner had 14 points and 5 rebounds. And Elijah Fulwiley had 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists with 5 turnovers. Where the girls against New Orleans, Kate Caval led with 22 points, perfect 9 for 9 in field goals, and 4 for 5 in free throw shooting. Grace Knox had 12 rebounds. She led in that. Plus, she had 12 points. And Elijah Fulwiley led in assists with 8. Plus, she had 3 turnovers and 18 points. Mina Joyner had 14 points with 10 rebounds and 3 assists. Zakiya Johnson had 17 points with 6 rebounds and 2 assists. And Jada Richard had 12 points with 8 assists. Now, on the last stream on the men Tiger team, I did mention on last show they did beat Boston College in overtime, 78-69. That got them a win in the SEC ACC Challenge. They did take their first loss of the season on Sunday, but I saw it coming. They played a very good 19th ranked team in Texas Tech, which I would love to be in Lubbock right now. Lubbock has to be on cloud 9. Your football team won their conference championship for the first time in 40 plus years. Your basketball team's kicking ass. Your football team's in the college football playoffs. You get that first round bye. Lubbock on cloud 9 right now. I would love to be in Lubbock right now. Wreck them Raiders, bro. But they wrecked LSU pretty hard, giving them their first loss of the season, 82-58. But I can just say Dean Thomas Jr. led in that game with 13 points, with 5 for 14 in field goals and 2 for 2 in free throw shooting. Markel Sutton led in rebounds with 8, plus he had 7 points, and Jalen Reese led in assists with just 2 assists, but he also had a turnover. So what's next for our Tiger teams? Well, I can tell you, Kim Mulkey's Tigers are going back to New Orleans. They're not going alone. McMahon's Tigers are going too, because they're having the Compete for Cause Classic at Smoothie King Center. By the way, New Orleans is going to be super busy this weekend. We got high school football state championships starting tomorrow till Saturday. Plus Saturday, they got this. Kim Mulkey is playing against their alma mater in Smoothie King Center next door. LSU versus Louisiana Tech. Should be a fun game. LSU boys are going to play SMU as well in the Smoothie King Center. And then LSU girls are going back on campus. They're going to play Morgan State on Tuesday, December 16th, while McMahon's Tigers, they're going to play Southeast. Well, actually, that's going to be next Friday. So this is going to be the only game the boys will have till next stream. Let's get some more win, guys. Y'all are kicking ass in basketball, and I'm loving every bit of it. This should be a quick rundown. I'm going to take it to my neck of the woods because we're going to do a little Bayou Bandit duel right here in the 337. Let's go. I should be in and out of my neck of the woods for another edition of the Bayou Bandit duel because let me tell you, McNeese, despite that loss to Incarnate Word, they've only played 2 games since that loss, and they've got some dubs, which I do need to update their record now. So McNeese, they're now 8-2 of the season. They went back in conference play on Friday. They beat Northwestern State 92-54. Larry Johnson, the Creighton transfer, he had led in points with 14. He led in rebounds with 8, and he led in assists with 6 and 3 turnovers. Ooh, I'm so glad they picked him up. He is our new Christian Shoemate right now. Oh, Christian Shoemate's doing his thing in the NBA. We got Larry Johnson doing his thing down in Lake Charles. Tyshawn Archie had 14 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists and a turnover in that game. Garway Doyle had 12 points, and Carl Sharon Font had 12. And then the other night, they took a long trip to Rhode Island and got a close win, 66-64. Tyshawn Archie had 18 points, 7 for 12 in field goals, and 1 for 2 in free throws. Larry Johnson had 6 rebounds with 12 points, and Garway Doyle had 2 assists with 7 turnovers and 6 points. And Javon Garcia had 13 points in that game. What's next for the Pokes till next stream? Well, they got 2 more conference games coming up. Fingers crossed I'll be in Lake Charles for this one. Friday, they host East Texas A&M. And then Monday, December 15th, they go to Houston to play Houston Christian in conference play till next stream. Matter of fact, after that, they don't play again till the 29th, and they go to Ann Arbor. The number 2 team, Michigan, is now the number 2 seed men's basketball. Whew. I don't like that. No. What am I, friggin' Akimbe Mutombo now? No. Well, I said what I got to say in my neck of the woods. I said that was going to be a quickie. Well, you know what? Let's wrap this up in H-Town before we get to some drama in the college football playoffs. But first, let's go to the 713, shall we? All right, welcome to the land where it just don't stop. Trunks pop, tops drops, and front end hops. Whoo, let's talk about them Houston Texans first. If you missed it in prime time, they went to Arrowhead and beat the Kansas City Chiefs 20-10. Now puts them out of the AFC West title picture. How many more losses until they're out of the playoff picture? Don't do it, Hoss. Their record is 6-7. Oh, shit. I just did it. Oh, I don't even know why I care about this 6-7 stuff. Like I'm going through such pain and personal anguish.
And all this time I've been going through such pain and personal anguish. Such hell for nothing.
I'm sorry. I just want to drop kick a kid in the throat if he tells me a 6-7 again. But Houston Texans are now 8-5. Beat the Kansas City Chiefs, beat Andy Reid, beat the Swifties, beat Travis Kelce, beat Patrick Mahomes, even beat the referees. 268 total yards, 186 passing, 82 rushing. That ain't going to cover, but I'll take the W. CJ Stroud, 15 for 31, 203 passing. He did throw 1 touchdown pass to Woody Marks for 9 yards. Plus Woody Marks led in rushing. He had 26 carries for 68 yards. He also had 2 receptions for 8 yards and a rushing touchdown. But Nico Collins led in receiving. 4 catches for 121 yards. Jaden Higgins had 3 catches for 34 yards against Kansas City. The defense, 67 total tackles, 29 solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, and 3 interceptions. But I thought he threw 4. Did he throw 4 interceptions? I thought he threw 3. I don't know. But he threw some interceptions. And the Chiefs' kingdom is not liking where they are right now. This ain't the same Kansas City team they've had in the last several years. This team is reaching its downfall. But I can tell you what's next for the Houston Texans. They're back at NRG. They're going to host the Arizona Cardinals. Only the 7th meeting overall, and they've tied it 3-3. And like I said, this defense is just outstanding. And defense can win games for you. And I think they get another W courtesy of that defense. I'm going to take the Texans beating the Arizona Cardinals. Is it going to be a close game? Possibly. I know the Cardinals were once hot at the start of the season. Score-wise, I could say maybe a 27-17. I'll say another 10-point game for the Texans. They win 27-17 over the Arizona Cardinals. Moving on, I guess we can get this team out the way. We'll go ahead and light the fuse for the Houston Rockets. To be honest with you, they've had somewhere between 1 or 2 games since last episode. Let me double check. And actually, they've had 2 games. I skipped a game. Holy crap. Well, since they've had 2 games, but I've only, why did I not put both games down? Well, Friday, December 5th, they hosted the Phoenix Suns and got the win, 117-98. But I didn't type none of this up. But I can recap this real quick. Amin Thompson led in points with 31, 12-17 in field goals, perfect 6 for 6 in free throws against Phoenix. Steven Adams led in rebounds with 8, and KD led in assists with 8 plus 5 turnovers against his former team he played recently in the Phoenix Suns. He also had 28 points in that game. Jabari Smith had 16. Steven Adams had 4. Holiday had 10. Shepard had 10. They did good. Now, they did fall on the road at Dallas this past Saturday. It was a close game, and then mistakes at the end got them to lose 122-109 against the Dallas Mavericks. But I can say that KD led in points in that game, 27 points, 11 for 20 in field goals, and a perfect 4 for 4 in free throw shooting. Jabari Smith led in rebounds with 8. He had 22 points in that game. And Amin Thompson led in assists with 6, plus he had 6 turnovers and 7 points against the Dallas Mavericks. What's next for the Rockets? Well, tomorrow night they're hosting the Clippers. Rockets are now 15-6, by the way. They host the Clippers tomorrow night. Then Monday night on Peacock, they go to Denver to play Joker and the Denver Nuggets. So they only got 2 games till next live stream. All right. And then finally, we're going to wrap up with some Houston Cougar basketball talk. Let's do some red alert right about now. I know this team only had 2 games since last stream, and they just played a game before I went live. But let's go back to Saturday. They had the keys to the big house. While the Rockets were in Dallas, they gave them the keys to the Toyota Center, and they hosted Florida State in the Toyota Center in front of a raucous crowd, like a second home for them, a home away from home, the Houston Hoop Showdown. They beat Florida State 82-67. Manuel Sharp led in that game with 16 points. He went 6 for 12 in field goals. Perfect 2 for 2 in free throw shooting. Chris Sanak Jr. led in rebounds with 10, plus he had 15 points, 3 assists, and 4 turnovers. Milos Uzan led in assists with 8, and he had 27 points. And Kingston Flemings also had 21 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 turnovers against the Seminoles. And before I went live, they were back at Fertitta. They hosted Jackson State, got a big win, 80-38. Cougars are now 9-1 of the season, and last I saw, they were like number 7 in the top 25. Emmanuel Sharp led in that game with 23 points, 8 for 11 in field goals, perfect 2 for 2 in free throw shooting. Chase McCarty led in rebounds with 7, and Kingston Flemings led in assists with 6, plus 3 turnovers against the Tigers. Who else had big numbers in this game? Harwell had 20 points. Milos had 6. Tugler had 4. I said Flemings had 5. Miller had 9 points. Walker had 6. They look good against Jackson State. All right, what's next? Till next stream, well, they only got 1 game this Saturday. They're going to be back at home as they host the University of New Orleans. Watch on ESPN Plus. So just 1 game till next stream next week. Well, that's all the talk I got for the teams I covered. Before we get to some like real drama and whatnot, let me give a big shout out to one of the all-time greats, because I gotta acknowledge this dude. Every sport has their GOAT. Basketball, they say Michael Jordan. Football, they're gonna say Tom Brady. Major League Baseball, I mean, shit. Who do I even want to start? They got many, many names for who's the GOAT in baseball, from like Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Jackie Robinson, you name it. They always got somebody different for baseball. if there was a GOAT for soccer, it's no question it's Lionel Messi. I'm a huge Messi guy. I became fans of teams like Barcelona and PSG because of this man. He's had a lot, and he's still kicking ass at 38 years old. I'm hoping he don't call retirement because he's damn near about won everything you can win in the soccer world. But this past weekend, he finally got a damn MLS Cup and the first one for Miami. So congratulations to Miami. You won your first MLS Cup, courtesy of having the GOAT on your team. But I wanted to acknowledge how great this guy is. I gotta say these accomplishments right here. Man, this guy is something. So I'm gonna start with his career in Barcelona. No, while he was playing for Barcelona, he's won, I think 10. He's had 10 La Liga titles. Yeah, 10-time La Liga champion. 7-time Copa del Rey champion. He's won Champions League 4 times with Barcelona. He also won the Super Cup 3 times with Barcelona and FIFA Club World Cup 3 times with Barcelona. While he was with PSG, he won the League One championship twice with them. While he was at Miami, just won the MLS Cup this year. Last year, won the Supporter Shield, and 2 years ago, won Leagues Cup. And then, of course, while making a name for himself in Argentina, he was on the team for the Olympic Games in 2008. He won the FIFA World Youth Championship in 2005 for Argentina. He won the World Cup for Argentina in 2022. He won Copa America for Argentina twice. And how am I saying this? Finalisima? It's the South American Nations. It's the South American Cup. Which I thought that's what Copa America was. I thought that was like the championship for South America. This is like a cup for European and South. I don't know. Like, you know how many freaking cups they have in soccer? Well, he's got one of those for Argentina. He's won like individual awards. Where do I even want to go? Like, he's won the European Golden Shoe multiple times. He's won the Silver Boot, the Golden Ball multiple times. Footballer of the Year, Player of the Year award, Champions League top scorer multiple times, La Liga's best player multiple times, Major League Soccer's MVP back-to-back years in 2024 and 2025. Oh, man. I can go on and on. He was also Argentina Sports Person of the Year 4 times and Footballer of the Year countless times. From 2005 to 2023, 16-time Footballer of the Year for Argentina. Basically, he's like a Ric Flair for soccer. Woo! Messi is the GOAT for a reason, folks. And I hope Bracket keep on playing because I enjoy watching him play, especially when we got World Cup next year, especially in North America. Oh, yeah, I'll be ready to watch him do it again. Whoever ends up playing for, I'm pretty sure he's going to play for Argentina again. But all right, enough of the Messi talk. I acknowledged the GOAT himself. Y'all ready for some drama, man? Because holy shit. I got this one backwards. Let's just recap. Before I can get to the bracket, let's recap the college football playoff conference championships we just had recently. And to be honest with you, outside of the FCS playoffs we've had, I'll get to the FCS talk in a bit. We had 10 conference championship games, and just in the conference championship games alone, I went 8-2. Not bad. So I know Tulane won the American Athletic Conference. We talked about that. James Madison won the Sun Belt over Troy. Kennesaw State won Conference USA over Jacksonville State. I think I've learned my lesson this one. You never pick against Boise State if they're on the blue turf. Boise State, despite the record they had, they won the Mountain West again. I learned my lesson there. Texas Tech beating BYU again this time. They win the Big 12 championship for the first time, I want to say, since the 60s. It's been a long time since Texas Tech won a conference championship. They're in the college football playoffs. Western Michigan wins the MAC over Miami of Ohio. Prairie View A&M won the SWAC over Jackson State. They're going to the Celebration Bowl for the HBCU National Championship. We're going to predict that later on. Georgia wins the SEC over Alabama, but did it really do much? Did it really matter now? Indiana beat Ohio State to win the Big Ten championship, but it didn't really affect Ohio State as much, except a perfect season gone. And the one that just twisted everything in the bracket, Duke beats Virginia to win the ACC championship. And I think they did it in overtime. But if Virginia would have won the ACC, would have they made the college football playoff? Possibly not. We know Duke had a 1% chance of winning that ACC title game. Which, holy shit, that gets to this, folks. There has been some scattering and drama with how this goes. And if you've not seen it, here is the official. There you have it. The 2025-2026 college football playoff bracket is official. 1 through 4, no surprise there, except we got a new number 1 seed, and it's Indiana. They take down Ohio State. First time in program history, Indiana's the number 1 seed overall. They won their first conference championship in quite some time as well. I think thought they said the 60s was the last time they won it as well. But Ohio State, that one loss didn't do much. They dropped 1 spot to the 2 seed, and they'll still get a first round bye. So that loss didn't really hurt them much. I thought if they would have lost, they'd have dropped further and had a home playoff game at least. But nope. And Texas Tech also winning that Big 12 championship. They get a first round bye. But you look on the far left, your first round matchups. Now, yes, 11 and 12 seed, we're going to a group of 5 conference champion. And if you get mixed up with what group of 5 is compared to Power 5 or Power 4, because your Pac-12 is still on life support. But there was a Power 5. It was the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, the ACC. The 5th was the Pac-12, but they're on life support till 2026. So right now we just got a Power 4. Your group of 5 conferences is like the American Athletic Conference, the Sun Belt Conference, Conference USA, the Mountain West Conference, and the MAC Conference. That's your group of 5. Only 2 were guaranteed a playoff spot, so they gave Tulane a playoff spot and James Madison. Where the drama's really coming from is Alabama, the only 3-loss team to make the playoffs. So that loss to Georgia didn't even bump them one bit. But there's some debate. Oh, it should have been Notre Dame. Vandy should have been in it. Texas should have been in it. And who do you argue with here? They're saying the only reason Bama's in is because they beat Georgia at the beginning of the season, and they've won like 5 SEC games in a row, especially against top 25 teams, despite having -3 rushing yards against Georgia. This committee, they kiss Bama's ass so fucking bad. Now, this hurts Notre Dame because, first off, join a fucking conference. You won't be mad. 2, you should have beat Miami at the beginning of the season. You should have beat Texas A&M as well. You probably would have been in the playoffs and not Alabama. But they're not going to join a conference in football because they got this licensing contract with NBC. They join a conference, they're going to lose their partnership with NBC. And they're not going to have their games televised on NBC anymore. So that's why they only join conferences in like basketball and baseball. They're in the ACC. But still play 5 ACC teams as an independent school. But they got so butthurt that Miami jumped over them and got in. over them that Notre Dame was one of like 10 schools to option out of playing in a bowl game. You go from playing in a national championship last year to not even playing in a bowl game this year. Notre Dame got shit in a stick, and I mean, they're getting some shit. I can tell you that. Miami losing to Louisville kind of surprised me. Like, they were once the number 2 team in the country, and then somehow they got in. The only ACC team to make it, I guess, because they felt bad. But don't criticize teams like Tulane and James Madison. They're the 2 highest group of 5 conference champions. I mean, I'm okay with where Tulane's placed, but like James Madison, I kind of feel bad for him because I already know how that's going to go. No offense, JMU. But your first round matchups, they're there. James Madison goes to Oregon. The winner plays Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl on New Year's Day. Alabama, Oklahoma again. This time the winner goes to the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day to play Indiana. Tulane and Ole Miss. Winner goes to the Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day and play Georgia. That would be a home game for Tulane right there. And then finally, Miami and Texas A&M. The winner of that game will go and play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Eve. We'll predict those later, but that is what you're looking at. That is your college football playoff bracket. I actually got the entire bowl lineup, but you know what? I don't even want to drag that out. That's a lot of bowl games. We're just going to take it little by little each week at a time when I do predictions for that. So you heard it there. But the FCS playoffs, I mean, I really, really need to update this, but I don't have an updated picture for it. But I can tell you how this turned about. We saw some upsets, and we saw one dynasty fall early in the playoffs, and another one, a defending champion, fall in the second round of the playoffs. So if you want to go back to the second round of the FCS, Villanova upset at Lehigh 14-7. South Dakota upsets Mercer, shuts them out 47-0. Illinois State takes down the Alabama of FCS. They beat North Dakota State 29-28. Tarleton State beat North Dakota 21-13. Montana State beats Yale 21-13. Montana takes down the defending champ South Dakota State 50-29. Stephen F. Austin beats Abilene Christian 41-34. And UC Davis beats Rhode Island 47-26. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and this is going to be the shortest predictions I'm going to have in all of college football this week. I'm going to break it down to you. We got just 4 quarterfinal games for the FCS. The final regular season game before we get to the bowl manias that's going to take over after that. And till next stream, we got 5 bowl games to predict. Just 5 till next stream. So let's just get that one out of the way because this is all I got left. This and the NFL talk. Under an hour. Can I finish it in under an hour? Let's see. I got less than 12 minutes to do it. All right. We'll start the FCS quarterfinals. Stephen F. Austin at Montana State. They're playing in Bozeman. Lumberjacks has been on fire, but it's Montana State in Bozeman. I'm going with the Bobcats. Montana State moves on to the semifinals. Villanova and Tarleton State. I'm actually impressed with how good Tarleton State's been all season for just a little small college out of Stephenville, Texas. So give me the Texans to win and move on to the semifinals and beat Villanova. If this were a basketball game, I'd say Villanova. South Dakota and Montana, Coyotes versus the Grizzlies, the 2 dark horses of their states. But Montana is trying to get a rematch with the Bobcats and try and overcome them and even win an FCS championship. Besides, have you never seen how beautiful that stadium is with the snowy mountains? You guys, if you ever been, I would, Missoula, Montana looks beautiful. I wish I had the picture up, but I didn't get it up. That's on me. but I'm going with the Grizzlies. Give me Montana over South Dakota. And then the final game, if there will be an upset in the quarterfinals, I think Illinois State can upset UC Davis. They took down the Bison. I can see them take down the Aggies. Give me Illinois State in another upset to move to the semifinals in the FCS. And then we got one more bowl. We got not one more bowl game. We got one more regular season college football game before we get to the Bowl Mania start. It's one of the greatest rivalries, one of the most respected rivalries of all time. And it's one of my favorite rivalry games to watch on TV. I love the Army-Navy game. I think we got swerved this year. I thought it was at MetLife, but no, this year it's in Baltimore. I did not get the uniforms up for both teams. Let me see if my phone can have a clear view of it. Because and usually in this game, I'm gonna be honest with you, I usually pick the Navy midshipman. If he's watching, shout out to one of my best friends who served in the Navy. I always root for the midshipman, so it's always go Navy beat Army for me. But let's see what the midshipman got as a unit. This must be the uniforms right here. Okay, this is cool. I love the gold helmets. I don't know if you... This is what Navy's wearing Saturday at MetLife. Not MetLife, in Baltimore. Army... What does Army have? Come on, what we got? Ooh, I think it's all white. Is this it? Ooh, the back of the font looks like the Constitution. Holy crap. Dude, God, this is tough. Here's a front and back shot. This is what Army's wearing against Navy. You know what? I'll give the best uniforms this year to Army. I got Navy winning the football game, but I'm gonna give Army the best uniforms this year. I always usually give it to Navy, but I think I like Army's uniforms this year. So you won that one, but go Navy, beat Army. I'm picking the midshipmen. They're gonna move on. All right. You ready to predict a couple? We're only going to predict a few bowl games here because, like I said, we're going to take it step by step. When next week comes, we're also going to predict the college football playoff first-round matchups with it. But we only got 5 bowl games to predict tonight, and then I'm going to predict whatever happens from December 13th. No, I'm picking what's happening from December 13th through the 17th. But when next week's show comes, I'm going to predict what happens from December 18th to Christmas Eve. So it all kicks off with the Cricket Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. Or the HBCU National Championship game. We got champions, the Bulldogs of South Carolina State, taking on the SWAC champions, the Panthers of Prairie View A&M from up there in Prairie View, Texas, north of Houston. And I'm gonna take the Panthers. We got a team outside of Houston playing in this matchup. By the way, Prairie View A&M might be the favorite. They're 10-3. South Carolina State's 9-3. But South Carolina State a couple years ago they beat Coach Prime and Jackson State to win a Celebration Bowl a couple years back. They're on the verge of trying to win another one. But I'm gonna go with Prairie View A&M. I usually root for the SWAC. But I'm going to go with I'm going with the Panthers here. And then we got the Bucked Up LA Bowl, and I think Gronk's hosting it up there at SoFi Stadium. We got a soon-to-be future Pac-12 team versus a former Pac-12 team. So it's Mountain West versus Big Ten. Boise State versus Washington. Broncos are 9-4. Mountain West champs. The Huskies 8-4. Going to be a very good game. Washington, I guarantee, is probably the favorite, but I like to see an underdog story. I know if Ashton Jenney was on this team, I'd say Boise State would win big, but I think it's going to be a close game. Give me Boise State in an upset over Washington. Then we got the IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl down in, is this in Montgomery? Alabama. Yep. we got two Alabama teams going at it. Troy, Jacksonville State, Sunbelt versus Conference USA. This should be a really fun game to watch. Troy's the favorite. Troy's 8. Both teams are 8-5, but Troy's the favorite. I'm going to go with Jacksonville State. I'm going to go with the Gamecocks to win this bowl game. Then we got, actually, that bowl game is going to be on Tuesday, December 16th, by the way. And then Wednesday, December 17th, we got a doubleheader here. We're going to start with the staff DNA Cure Bowl in, I think it's in Orlando, Florida. Yeah, at Camping World Stadium. We got Old Dominion versus South Florida. So it's Sunbelt versus American team. Both teams are 9-3. I think this is going to be another good game right here. But I'm going to go with South Florida in this. I'm going to take the Bulls to win the Cure Bowl. And then we close out these bowl picks. Raging Cajuns versus Delaware. The 68 Ventures Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. Sunbelt versus Conference USA. Delaware's first ever bowl game since joining the FBS program. So what a season they've had. I mean, both teams are 6-6. But I'm going to stick with my heart. I'm going to pick the Raging Cajuns, obviously. I think it's going to be a close game. Delaware ain't going to be no joke, but I'm going with the Cajuns. Give them hell, UL. If I had to pick a score for this, give me 17-14. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. 17-14, Cajuns win the Ventures Bowl against Delaware. All right. Let's wrap this up with the NFL. By the way, in my picks yesterday, I went a total of 13-5 for Conference Championship Week plus the FCS Playoffs. While in the NFL, for Week 14, I went 7-7. Cowboys couldn't beat the Lions on Thursday night. Saints shocked me against Tampa Bay. Aaron Rodgers still playing like in his younger days, beating the Ravens. Colts hit rock bottom after Daniel Jones tore his, I think he tore his Achilles tendon. But now they picked up Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is going to be back playing quarterback as a grandpa. Titans shocked the Browns. Vikings shut out the Commanders. Shout out to the Seahawks beating the Atlanta Falcons. So salute you for that. A snowy night in Buffalo, but Josh Allen got the win over Joe Burrow. Broncos doing their thing. Broncos proving why I believe they're going to win the AFC and go to the Super Bowl. Bears-Packers. Oh, that's why this is the greatest rivalry in the NFL. Great matchup. Packers got the win at Lambeau. Rams, so that's skipping and beating the NFC. Texans trying to get the Chiefs out the playoff picture. And Monday night, the Chargers making the Eagles lose 4 in a row. Are the Eagles done too? It's like both Super Bowl teams from last year are on thin ice of making the playoffs. All right, it's almost an hour. Let's do these real quick. Thursday Night Football, I'm going to say straight up, this is my toilet bowl of the week. The Atlanta Falcons versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kirk Cousins versus Baker Mayfield. Both teams coming off losses, but you know the Bucs are red hot after losing to the Saints. I'm going with Tampa Bay on this one. The Houston Texans are hosting the Cardinals. I said the Texans win this by 10 points. You heard it at the beginning. Bills and the Patriots. I think this is going to determine who wins the AFC East. And I'm on thin ice with Josh Allen because, to be honest with you, I think the Patriots are going to beat the Bills. So I'm going with New England now. Ravens, Bengals. Give me Cincinnati. Chargers, Chiefs. I'm rooting for the Chargers. If they win, I think the Chiefs are done. So give me the Chargers, but they're going to find a way for the Chiefs to win. Browns and the Bears. Give me the Bears. Commanders, Giants. This one was a tough one. This was a flip a coin, but I took the New York Giants over the Commanders. Raiders, Eagles. Unfortunately, I think this is where the Eagles bounce back. I cannot see them losing 5 in a row. So I got the Eagles beating the Raiders. Saints, Panthers. I got the Saints finishing. They're going to finish strong, so I got them beating the Panthers. I said it. They're going to sweep them. Colts, Seahawks. Seahawks are going to blow them out. I mean, this Phillip Rivers first NFL game in what? How long? They're going to blow them out. This is going to be my game of the week. Packers, Broncos, a little Super Bowl 32 rematch. But it's at Mile High. It's in Denver. Oh, I'm riding with the ponies. Give me the Denver Broncos, baby. Titans, 49ers. This one was a toss-up, but I feel like if we got an upset alert, I got the Tennessee Titans beating the 49ers here. Lions, Rams. I've lost hope for the Lions. I feel like actually that the Rams are the best team in the NFC right now, so I'm going to have to say the Rams win. Sunday Night Football, we got J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings taking on Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, the Vikings got lucky against the Commanders, but this is where I feel like the Cowboys are going to bounce back and get another win, so I'm going to have to unfortunately pick the Cowboys again. And then Monday Night Football, Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins taking on Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The way Aaron Rodgers played against the Ravens last week, it had me shocked, and it's in Pittsburgh, so why not go for the Steelers? I got the Steelers beating the Dolphins. Well, that will wrap up this show. I know I'm a few seconds past an hour. I'm actually a minute and a few seconds past an hour, but it's okay. This was fun. I can't wait to do it again next week. But I enjoyed talking this with you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. You know where to find me. You know where to find Driving to the Top Productions. You know, great people, great content. I say it every week. Go check those guys out. Whatever team you cover, there's someone there covering it for you. Like I do with H-Town and New Orleans and all around South Louisiana. With that being said, I will see you guys same time, same place next Wednesday night, December 17th, 9 p.m., right here on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We'll predict some more NFL talk. We'll predict more bowl games and everything. I'm ready to do it all over again next week. But that being said, peace, love. I'm out. God bless y'all, and I'll see y'all next week. Out.